Hello, beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to TP Ultimate TV. It's me, your girl, the one and only Muzo Malux. Today we'll be having Boikanyo Maubane, and she will be talking about the wholeness, being the best version of yourself. I mean, she'll be talking about Rona inside, Pakati inside. So, guys, don't go anyway, stay tuned. Hello, welcome to TP Ultimate TV, a channel with informative content that will transform and be so impactful in your life. My name is Boikanyo Maubane. So today I'll be talking about wholeness. What is wholeness? Wholeness is the whole you, an undivided and unbroken unit that you possess. It is about contentment. It is about your integrity as a person. It is about what you give out as an individual. It is about what makes you, and the contents, or rather say building blocks that makes you a whole human being. So I will break them down in few chunks, and they will be in different subheadings. So we're gonna have in the whole you, we're gonna have the whole you, we're gonna have emotional and in mental well-being, we're gonna have financial well-being, we're going to have your spirituality and your belief system. So those are the things that makes an individual. Those are the things that shapes an individual. So today we'll be talking about mental health and emotional well-being. These two are somehow linked, but they are different. So mental health is about cognitive and behavioral concepts, and they are also it's also linked with emotional well-being. So when we look at mental health in our state and our generation, a lot of people will refer to somebody who is not well, and they will just say they are mentally not stable. We refer to mental health as somebody who's crazy, but pressure, depression, and what do we call this, peer pressure, not only pressure in a sense of stress, but also peer pressure. Those are the things that causes one not to be stable mentally, right? So you find that somebody is not coping, and remember when I said it's like the mental health and emotional well-being are linked, it's because depression plays a major role in emotional stability, and it also plays a major role in mental health. So things like when somebody is not able to cope with stress, somebody is not able to understand how they should be handling pressure and how they should be relating with surrounding environments that are bringing influence into how they process their cognitive abilities. So your mental health affects relationships. Your mental health affects how you view the world. Your mental health affects your present self, or affects you as an individual in the corporate world. It affects you how you relate even with family. So it is quite important that when you feel that I'm stressed, I'm pressurized, I'm under depression, my thoughts are not healthy thoughts, you don't force them on people, and you take time, withdraw. It's very important that you withdraw and do self-care. This is a word that is now flaunting around, going around on social media, that it's important as individuals that you do self-care. What does self-care do? It helps you to refresh, it rejuvenates you as an individual. It helps you in a moment where you have withdrawn from the social media, or you have withdrawn from being around people. You are able to get a fresh perspective of what you're going through. You are able to take a deep breath, and understand that some things, the events in our lives, they happen, the way they happen in a way that you were not, it is not how you have planned. But when such things happen like that, it also affects how you are thinking. It also affects how you have planned your life to be. So it's very important that you take care of your mental health, right? So emotional well-being is about your emotions, understanding vulnerability, understanding how you feel as an individual, understanding that there are four things that speaks with emotional intelligence. There is social awareness, there is awareness of self. When we speak about awareness of self, we speak about understanding who you are as an individual. What makes Boikanyo tick? What makes Boikanyo feel sad? And when I am sad, what is it that I do, right? And with social awareness is knowing how to relate with people. Hey, I know a lot of people who would go around saying, I'm shy, I can't be around people, or I don't like being in open areas. I'm shy myself. People don't believe that. But there is a superpower that I possess, that when I am around people in a social setting, I first learn and study who is around me, how am I feeling, and what am I bringing out to people, what am I allowing people to learn about me in that social setting. And if you get to a place where it's full, you suddenly feel you don't feel comfortable, a tip will be that you take either one or two people that you feel comfortable around, you sit with them there, so that your social intelligence is not compromised, but you are trying to at least engage with a group or a pair that you can accommodate at that time, right? Another thing with emotional intelligence is understanding. When we talk about self-awareness, understanding what makes you tick, it's very important. There's a lot of people who go like, and I will not filter. That's who I am. You are not being emotionally intelligent. You have to be aware of who is around you. You have to always take note of your tone. Ooh, this is very important, because this is a deal breaker, right? With relations, we are relating daily, and you don't want to find yourself as an island. People always have to have I don't know, buckler proof or what, I don't know, like people always have to have a shield or a filter for you. You cannot be that kind of a person. You have to be considerate of how you approach people. Some people don't take it nicely when you just go forcefully on them. This is who I am, this is what I want, this is how I want things to be done. No. You take a step back, you learn how somebody wants to be approached. And emotional intelligence allows you to study what a person wants, allows you to study how you should speak to the next person. And this plays a major role, because you go to work, you need emotional intelligence. You go to church, you need emotional intelligence. You're living with your family in the house, you need emotional intelligence. With your friends, you need emotional intelligence. It is everywhere. We don't want people we don't want people saying it's the end of the year, I'm cutting off people. You are cutting off people because you do not want to be an emotional intelligent adult. Emotional intelligence allows you to look at your life and say, this is where I have went wrong. I shouldn't have best when they told me bad news, or I shouldn't have overreacted. Here's the thing. There is reacting, there is acting, and there is overreacting. So in an event where they tell you something that is not pleasant, the ball is in your court. Your emotional intelligence must always be tuned, where if they say something bad to me, or let's say criticism, or let's say it's rejection, it's up to you if you're going to retaliate in overreaction, or take an action where you say, okay, I'm analyzing and I'm accepting the situation as it is, and you are able to bring your best self to responding to whatever situation that might be. So it's very, very, very important that as individuals we work on our emotional intelligence, our emotional well-being. One of the things that today we are dealing with in our generation is depression. And without doubt, this thing is real. It's a monster. It's living amongst us. But it is the failure or not understanding of, or not embracing people's hurt or acknowledging it. Sometimes somebody is going through a difficult time, and all that they need is to be told that, listen, you are valued. Your pain is valid, right? You acknowledge the emotion that they are feeling at that moment. It allows somebody to be vulnerable. Growing up now in a time is that we are all trying to be so mandlas, we got this, we are mbokodos, we are fighting, and we are trying so hard to push our lives. But there is one thing that is hitting us, which is the ability to handle our emotions, knowing who we are. And in knowing who we are comes owning who we are. There's a vibe, and we know this, is that we sense energy, the universe is bringing this kind of energy. I'm not against that, but what I want us to be aware of is that people sense what you give, and what you give, your energy, we can taste it, we can smell it. Your emotional intelligence plays role, because it's emotions. We are relating. Today you meet this other person, tomorrow you meet this other person. It even goes to the extent of romantic relationships, where if you don't know how to handle your emotions and your mental well-being, you are affecting the quality of people in your life. It's like you're always spitting fire. You don't have filter. Your tone is always harsh. People don't want to be in that kind of surrounding. Another thing with emotional intelligence is boundaries. My favorite. I'm telling you, my favorite. I'm saying my favorite because I have seen the power of setting boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are standards that you as an individual set. You set for yourself. You set for yourself, not for other people. You set for yourself that other people must respect it, right? Those are standards, those are principles, those are core things that you feel like, this is where I draw the line. And if somebody else comes and jumps the line or goes above the boundary, you have to take a stand and say, nope, this is where it ends, right? The good thing about boundaries is that it gives you power as an individual. It is not about the next person. Hear me well. You set the boundary for other people, but you observe the boundary. You look at the boundary that I, as Boikanyo, nobody is going to shout at me when they speak to me. So somebody out of the blue comes, wow, 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 and they are shouting. The person doesn't know my boundary. I have to step out and say, excuse me, I hear you, I see you want to talk to me, or I hear you want to talk to me. Can you please lower your voice, or please have a sit? Let's have a conversation about what you want to say. You know, that is a boundary. A boundary is you teaching people how to speak to you. A boundary is you teaching people how to address you. You know, people go around doing whatever they want, but we are in power. We are in control of how that should be done to us. So if you have set that kind of a boundary, and that friend, in the moment where you have asked them to give advice, when in their giving advice, you realize that this is not the tone that I want, or this is not the positive advice I was looking for. You have power, and you allowed to say, stop. This is where it ends. You cannot talk like that about my family or about my partner. So it gives you power to understand that these are my emotions, these are my boundaries, this is for my mental well-being. Therefore, I will not allow you to either plant things in my head that were never there. So it's very important that we know what we want, so that people can know how to relate with us. So that is also important. Another thing with emotional well-being and emotional intelligence is vulnerability. Oh, this is what I love. Vulnerability is being in a state where you are seen. That's it. And being in a state where you can be you without filter. You know, I mentioned that you get people who want to show the strong person. You know, I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm persistent, you know, I'm a force to be reckoned with. But all these forces to be reckoned with, they come to a point where they meet hurdles where they have to jump. And in a moment of jumping, it can be that they either trip and fall, or they fail to jump at the level they have set for themselves. Now, vulnerability comes in where you have to embrace that moment. It's either it's a moment of failure, or it's a moment of being overwhelmed, or it's a moment of literally breaking out your whole heart. I don't know why I'm being emotional now, but I guess it because I'm feeling what I'm talking about. You know, vulnerability is important. Is allowing people to say, look, I have it all figured out, but today I am not okay. And this is where you have to understand that you won't be okay every day. And on that day, or in that day where you feel like today I don't have it all figured out, it's okay not to be okay. Vulnerability is allowing somebody say, I feel like this is what is happening. And in that moment of feeling, and in that moment of uncertainty, you embrace the person in that emotion that they are feeling. You can't say, you can't feel like that. Kanti, who are you? Or Kanti, are you not powerful? Look, I am powerful. I am successful. But today, this is how I am feeling. You know, we have to create environments where people find trust in us. When they come with the vulnerability, they have to have confidence that whatever is discussed in the vulnerability, it is protected. There is confidentiality with vulnerability, because today people, oh my goodness, today people are suffering with depression because they have no safety nets or safe places to be vulnerable at. And sometimes these people are our friends. These people are our aunties, our brothers, you know, you name them, our acquaintances and all that. They cannot be vulnerable with us because there's no trust. They are not embraced. There's no empathy. You know, even in leadership, We need leaders who are going to lead with empathy, that when somebody comes and breaks, opens their chest, and they go on with their secrets, and all that, they must be able to find a place in you that is safe, that is sacred, and that allows them to cry. And in closing, in wrapping up the vulnerability subtopic, is to say, vulnerability, it is not a weakness, it is a strength. Because after somebody has opened up, they have spoken about their emotions, their feelings, they are able to regain strength, and then they are able to face the world again. So that is all about vulnerability. It is not a weakness, it is a strength. Allow people to feel whatever they feel in that moment, and assure them that their feelings are valid. The other one is authenticity. Being authentic in what you are feeling. Authenticity is uniqueness, is being intentional, and is being present also in what you are feeling. So when we talk about authenticity, we admire it, but it is hard work. Authenticity is not, it cannot be copied. Authenticity cannot be faked. It is like the genuinity that somebody gives. So allow people to be authentic in their feelings. Feelings are not only sad, happy. There is, I'm not sure. There is, I cannot put a finger on it, but I feel something, moments of uncertainties. So be authentic also in what you give in a positive mood. A positive mood might be you are there supporting a friend. A positive mood might be you are there being a pillar to somebody, being happy, content as an individual. Make sure that what you give people is authentic. Give people the real you. People must not say "Ole obu," No. 1 minute you are happy, 1 minute you are not happy. You shouldn't be a robot or ube madibu saying. Your authentic self is, people must know when you are happy, people must know when you're not happy, and people must know when you don't like something that is being done and you don't like it done in that way. So your authentic self is that we know that when Boikanyo is like this, it means she doesn't like this. When Boikanyo is like this, it means she's happy. People should not struggle to read you in terms of your authenticity. So be real. Give yourself and be present in everything that you do. Then you're going to relate so well with people. So we are all about health relations. Your mental well-being and your emotional well-being are all about healthy relations with other people. It is not only about you. It is about the people, your tribe, your family, your colleagues, Because we have people nowadays where at work, they know this other person. On social media, they know this other person. At church, they know this other person. Ko society, they know this other person. Ko khaya, they know this other person. But when they look at the wholeness of this people, of this person, they cannot put one thing or one trait or one character that speaks to them. So even if you are different in all these kind of social environments, people must at least know one authentic thing about you. That if they come in one room and they speak about you, they should be able to say, no man, Boikanyo is a bubbly person, and they all agree on that. Then it means whatever you are portraying to people is authentic. It's not fake, it's the real you. So yeah, that is authenticity. Can we bring out our authentic self? So with your mental well-being, with your emotional well-being, your emotional intelligence, one thing that we have to master is to know how to speak for ourselves. This goes a lot with friendships and with romantic relationships, where you are in a process of learning somebody, and with learning and with growing somebody comes change, and it's very important that you're always updated. So I often say to my friends that friendships and relationships are like a software. You constantly need to update the software, because as people grow, they discover what they love, they discover what they no longer love. It's like they are growing out of different cocoons in their stages of life. And as individuals and as people, to live a healthy life, we have to make sure that we update softwares as they update softwares. Otherwise, you're going to relate with people from a past perspective, kanti they have transformed. And I'm saying this in a sense that you have to know how to speak for what you like and what you don't like. That is being emotional intelligent. So you have this thing, a blackmail. Say I'm speaking to my friend, and I say, I'm speaking to my partner. Wena hausa nrata, hausa etsa o tshwana le nakwela. Wena khale ni wira so. Oh, why don't you buy me something that I love? Right? That is wrong. That is not how you speak for yourself. That is not how you update another person of the changes that has happened. So you need to be able to speak up and say, hey, listen, I realized that you've been buying me red roses, and I'm into lilies. So the transformation and the update that has happened with you as an individual, it forces you to be matured, to seeing, okay, this person has been going with what has been happening in the past, how we've been doing things in the past. But now this new thing that I have discovered, you address it, please. You don't go around and say, yeah, you do this, you do that. You don't even know what I love. Hello, excuse me. It has changed. Update the person. Even if it's your friend, show me. Now I think I love red dresses. I no longer love floral dresses. So your friend is updated. They know what you like. They know what you love. Let's move away from this thing of assuming. Assumptions are dangerous. They are like a speed hump. However, and you're not aware that there's a speed hump there. Boom! It hits you when you least expect. So for you to be able not to assume, slow down and ask. Has things changed around here? Or should I do things in that way? Do you still prefer this or that? So instead of you assuming there's no other way, ask, man. Be a matured and a mentally healthy and emotionally healthy human being. Ask. Don't assume. And in you asking, you will be able to speak also for yourself, to say, this is not how I want things to be done. Another thing of being emotionally intelligent with people is being able to speak up when people hurt you. That was just speaking up for what you want, but you have to learn to address what you do not like. You can't always have, there's a saying, I forgot the saying, but it says when you point someone with a finger, there's literally other fingers, 4 fingers that are facing you. So for the person to have done a wrong thing, you played a role in that person doing that wrong thing. Happiness? So here's the thing. When you say you did this, you must also take a step back and be able to say, what role did I play in this person doing this? And in doing that, you will be able to say, like addressing issues, especially this comes to play when you are dealing with a lot of conflict. You know, when you have conflict, you must be very smart so that you don't anger the person, and that the outcome is healthy, and that the outcome is what you want to achieve. And I'm just now hoping that the outcome will be to achieve a healthy relation even after addressing what has hurt you. So how you approach it, you don't say you did this and this and this and this and this and you leave it there. Apologize. No. You must be able to select or say out the emotion that you felt when that thing was done. So this is how you're going to say it. You did this and this and this, and I felt like I was not appreciated. Fine. For example, let's bring it home. You spoke with your friend and your voice was very loud. It was as if you were shouting me in front of your friends. That made me feel like you don't respect me. I mean, it's a feeling of disappointment. It's a feeling of sadness. You are recognizing that thing, that this is how this thing has made me feel. And you are not only pointing out the wrongs to say this is what you've done. Yeah. No. You're saying this is how it made me feel. An emotionally intelligent person will say, I am sorry, I was not aware that this is how you felt. And sometimes you say things and people are not aware when you are being hurt, right? So that's why when they apologize, they will say, I was not aware. You can't say you were not aware. How can you not be aware? I mean, they were not aware. You have to accept what they are telling you at that moment. They were not aware. So to wrap up, the confrontation or the conflict that has been that was discussed is to say, I am sorry, this is how it made you feel. I was not aware. This is how it made you feel. And you then say, going forward, I will not do this and this and this again. So you are owning up to the mistake. You are acknowledging you're wrong. So with these two parties, each will definitely must have played a role. So you should all come to a point where don't be a person you cannot be a Khwatswana person. You are too old for that. Please sit down, discuss things, and have a common ground and have an understanding. Then you are able to say, this is me. This is how I would appreciate that next time you do things. Approach is very important. Sometimes people are not difficult. It is your approach. And when you love somebody, you learn their approach. Whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner, whether it's your mother, your father, your siblings, you learn the approach. Some people don't want to be talked with or discuss critical or important topics around people. They prefer a meeting. Other people prefer it differently. Other people want to be called or ask me or do that. Learn how people want to be approached, and you will have healthy relationships. You will be able to communicate healthy. So let's stop the blame game. You did this, you did that. No. Take it to you. Own your emotion. Say, I felt embarrassed when this and this happened. I felt belittled when this and this happened. And the next person will be able to say, look, my apologies, I was not aware. this is how it makes you feel. And in that manner, it's two emotionally intelligent people who are trying to reason together. So happiness to emotional well-being to mental well-being, can we be considerate of other people? Because there's a lot that shapes our emotions, that shapes our mental well-being, that contributes and influences our mental well-being. So people's background do have an impact. People's previous relationships, they do have an impact. People's work setting, they do have an impact, and they do have an influence in how people relate with each other emotionally and mentally. But I want you to take it upon yourself as an individual to say, I am going to work on my mental health. I am going to take care of myself. I am going to work on my emotional intelligence, my emotional well-being, so that when I meet people, I give them my whole me. This is all about wholeness. When people, you can be beautiful, you can have a beautiful body, you can have a beautiful smile, but when people get to know you, they are attracted to your cognitive abilities, your mental well-being. Today, they say, social media obviously will say, I'm looking for somebody who's going to come healed. Coming healed is a work in progress. It doesn't happen one day. It needs you to allow people to have their on and off days. So, in wrapping up, I just want to say, let's be more tuned into who we are and what we give to other people. We must give people our wholeness, and wholeness starts inside. It's an inside work. There's a beautiful quote that we love. It says, I am a beautiful mess, or I am a work in progress, or I am both a masterpiece and a work in progress, because of what? The software updates that keeps happening in our lives. So let us relate with each other more on a healthy level. Thank you. My name is Boikanyo Maubane. Thank you for tuning in. TP TV, the ultimate TV. This is your most channel that brings you beautiful and informative content. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Boikanyo. I mean, you know what? I also learned something from you, and now I know the actually being that I am. Guys, I also hope that you also learned something from her, and we should keep on digging, know more about ourselves. So go out, find yourself, go deep, and don't just be like, hey, Nike Bila, I'm like this. No, go side pakati inside, don't forget. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Love you.